Okay, y'all. So, if you're a Black American woman, and I think we all have done this, when it comes to engaging with other people in other places and spaces, I think that is really good to do roots around it just to see how the energies are. Now, you may have dreams, you may have premonitions where you pick up on certain things. You may not know exactly why you're feeling what you're feeling, but you understand, like, okay, it's something going on. And it could be either positive, negative, or you may even feel indifferent to it. However, when you're doing roots, it's good to scan things spiritually, right? Now, say if you're going to be engaging in a space that you never have before, do the research when it comes to the location, the people that frequent that space. Do that, but also do the spiritual side of it to make sure that when you're in that space that you're protected, you're feeling like you are being catered to in the proper way, because that's going to be really important to how you're going to correspond with that type of environment. Okay, say if you're walking into an establishment and they're all about peace, community, working with each other, okay, then I expect nothing less. You can work with that type of energy because you can walk into a place and say, okay, I'm not walking into this space to identify myself and then communicate that to the space. I'm walking into the environment to say, hey, I need this, I need that, I need this, and I expect the best. So it's sort of like you're preaching it, but I'm going to test you to see, are you actually living by that? And as a Black American woman, you could benefit from that. Also, I believe that people understand how disappointed Black women are in society, right? And how we're just kind of like ill with society. So anytime we come out and engage, you will meet those people sometimes where they're trying to be on their best behavior. They want to please you because they understand, like, oh my gosh, the state of the world is so, just crazy. You know, people are aware of other people's behaviors and how they're acting towards Black women, and so they're going to try to win you over as a Black woman, especially as a Black American woman, right? Because I have this happen to me all the time where I'm not trying to make a person feel like I'm watching them or that I'm judging them, and I probably am, but it's like they be on their best behavior, right? And I'm not saying that I don't like that. It's like, yeah, I keep you on your toes. That's good. But at the same time, it's like a jumpy type of feeling, like, oh, are you okay? Are you happy? Is everything okay? You know. So, I could say, benefit from it. Because you do have those people who actually care and they want to see Black women happy, and so they're going to make sure that they are on their best behavior, or they are, even checking other people about Black women. But yeah, people know that they're being watched, I would say. And as a Black woman, when we are expressing our grievances when it comes to certain things, it makes people feel bad about themselves. And I've stated this before, it makes people question themselves, because a lot of the times people want to walk around and act like they are these benevolent beings, and they are for the people, they're for the earth, and in reality we know that they're really not. And they try their best to blend in, I would say. Whereas you have us who are forced into loving ourselves, we are forced into facing ourselves as Black women, right? Because in order to be here on this earth as a Black woman, we are required to get down to the roots of who we are and why we are on this earth. Like, what's the point? What's the reasoning? Why are we here? From the roots all the way down to like the bloodline, the lineage, what is happening, what is going on. We have to face those things. And I would even say some of us are even forced to, but it makes us way better. It makes us even more powerful. And because people like to be pacified a lot, they're not willing to go to the depths of that type of power. They could if they really wanted to, but then they would have to admit to themselves that their entire existence is wrong, and even on some levels, trash. They would probably get down to the root and discover, what am I even doing here? Why am I here? And so for us as Black American women, we understand, once we start to do the spiritual work and everything, we understand why we're here. Like, oh, okay, right? And then we move accordingly. It's sort of like when you have goddesses, right? And we always hear the stories of goddesses, like, okay, goddesses should be worshipped, loved, cared for. But the real true story of the goddesses, especially Lilith, because Black women, we represent Lilith. If you look in, like the sci-fi movies, if you read the magical stories, Black American women, we represent Lilith, right? Which is the most darkest, most coldest elements on the planet. And this has everything to do with even like Scorpio, Plutonian energy. We represent that part, because I think when it comes to our, let me just say this, when it comes to our zodiac, if we're looking at it from a physical form and not so much of like a scientific, on paper, every zodiac group represent a collective of people, right? And when it comes to that Lilith part in the birth chart, where you have to face like your most deepest, darkest parts of yourself, that's that type of energy that we hold, right? Now it's up to everybody else to figure themselves out when it comes to, that humanistic way of performing out these, whatever we want to call them, zodiac, planets, whatever. But I know for us, we represent them, the most deepest, darkest part. And that's also like the sacred energy. It's the ancient mother energy, the dark mother energy, right? The dark goddess, dark femininity. That's what that is. That's what that is. So I encourage Black women to understand what that is for you as a person. And then once you discover that, and you start to meet your tribe, or you start to, communicate and connect with other people, then you will say like, oh, okay, now I understand I'm not the only one, right? Even though, like, say if you come from a family and you might be the only one in your family that feels like this, like, oh, I'm having all of these dreams, all of these different, just understanding something that I've never even thought about. I'm just understanding it just like that. This is how that energy works. It's like you just wake up knowing certain things, and you're just like, oh my God, where did this come from? Oh my gosh, when I go to the park, when I go to, the beach, the water communicates with me, the trees responds to me. Like, what is this? You may be the only one right now in your bloodline that feels like this. And then I would even say that when we've had, like, our grandmothers, great grandmothers and such, they too are somebody within the bloodline, or multiple people were very spiritual. Most likely you're going to inherit that, and then it's supposed to help you with the current times right now. So that is all. Take care. Real quick, and the reasons why we feel like this is because we're here on earth. We know deep down inside it's supposed to be better, right? We understand this, but we can't go off of that logic. We have to go off of, and I would even say it's emotions. We can't go off of that. We have to go off of what we see in the physical form and how we're going to navigate that. So